Today we're going to look at world population, and this video comes in two parts. This is part one. What makes it go up and down? Two things. First, births make it go up. Second, deaths make it go down. In this video, we're going to look at births. I want to introduce you to the idea of fertility rate. Fertility rate is how many babies a woman will have in her life. It includes women who never marry or have no children or have 10 children. It's an average of all women of childbearing age, which we are saying will be age 15 to 40. The idea is that if this is about 2, the population will stay the same. Why? We start with 2 parents. The population is 2. Then they have 2 children. The population is 4. Then the parents die. The population is back to 2 again. If this is repeated generation after generation, the population will stay the same. What if they have 3 children? We start with 2 parents. The population is 2. Then they have 3 children. Then the parents die. The population goes up to 3 in one generation. If the parents only have 1 child, when they die, the population goes down to 1. To be exact, the fertility rate has to be 2.2 to keep the population the same. That's because some people never get old enough to have children. So much for theory. What is happening in the real world? Europe, the rate is 1.6 children per mum. That means the population will be about 3/4 of the present level in one generation. North America, it is 1.8. Canada 1.6, USA 1.7, Mexico 2. South America 2. Brazil 1.8, Argentina 2.1, Chile 1.9. China 1.3, very low. That means the population will fall to about 60% of its present level in a generation. Myanmar 2.2, Thailand 1.3, Malaysia 1.8, India 2, Singapore 1, which is almost the lowest in the world. The lowest is actually South Korea, which is about 0.8. Oceania 2.3, Australia 1.8, New Zealand 1.9. Africa, big growth. By 2050, Africa will have 3 times as many people as Europe. In every developed country, the low fertility rate means population will fall. Even in less developed countries, Thailand 1.3, Brazil 1.8. A word of warning. We're only looking at births. We haven't looked at deaths yet. Also, it's not all about fertility rate. The number of new babies comes from a maths calculation. I know you always wondered where new babies came from, but no one told you it was from a math calculation until now. Fertility rate multiplied by the number of possible mums. If the number of mums is going up, the number of babies can go up even if the fertility rate is falling. We're going to create a spreadsheet. The aim of the spreadsheet is to look at the effect of the number of mums on population. So I've already put the column headings in. In column A, I've put dates starting in 1960 and going up by 25 years every time. Why 25 years? Because that's the time we've assumed for a woman's childbearing life, age 15 to 40. In column B, we're going to start with a population total of 100 million. Why 100 million? Because it's a nice round figure. We're not trying to make an accurate prediction of world population. We're just trying to show the effect of the number of mums on population change. Now in column C, we've put 25%. Why 25%? Because 50% of the world population is men who can't have babies, and we're estimating half of the rest, which is the women, are the right age to have babies. So the story so far is in 1960 we had a population of 100 million, 25% of them were possible mums, so that's 25 million people. Now in column E we've put 2% for the fertility rate. As we've seen, that should keep the population the same. And in column F, we've put a formula to calculate the number of babies, which is the number of mums times the fertility rate, or D2 times E2, over the 25 years from 1960 to 1985. And in column G, we've put a formula to calculate the new population, the total population plus the new babies, or B2 plus F2. Now we need to put in a death rate. I know we said this video is about births, but to look at the effect of the new babies on the total population, we need to include deaths. The rate we're using of 0.77% per year is close to the true rate in the world right now. Then in column I, we put a formula, total population times the percentage of deaths, or P2 times H2 times 25 years. And in column J, we put the new population, G2 minus I2. So this is not what we expected. The fertility rate is 2, but the population has gone up. Why? The answer is because the number of mums in D2 has gone up by 25% from C2. If we want to understand why population is going up, we have to ask, why is the number of mums going up? The simple answer is that if the population is rising and the new generation is bigger than the last one, the number of mums will automatically rise. Okay, let's finish off the spreadsheet and see what it shows. We've put a formula in B3 to make the starting population in 1985 equal the ending population of the 25 years starting in 1960. Now I've copied all the formulas and we can see the full picture. The population in column J keeps going up even though the fertility rate is 2. That's because every time there are more possible mums in column D. As we saw earlier, fertility rates all around the world, except Africa, are falling. In spite of that, populations are still rising. We have two conflicting forces. One, falling fertility rates, pushing population down. And two, more possible mums, pushing the population up. A word of warning. The death rate is also falling, which pushes population up. But in this video, we're focusing on births and the effects of the number of mums. So to keep things simple, we'll keep the death rate the same. Remember, we're not trying to predict the true world population. The United Nations can do a much better job of that than we can. For all of this century, many countries have been in this conflict situation. But the population has been rising because the rising number of mums has been stronger than the falling fertility rate. So let's play with the spreadsheet to find out how far the fertility rate has to drop before the population starts to fall. We'll change the fertility rate in column E and watch what happens to the total population in column J. To start, we'll just play with the 1960 row. I've changed the fertility rate from 2 to 1. The new population fell from 130 million to 105 million. But it's still going up. This time I've changed it to 0.5. The new population fell to 93 million. It's below the 100 million we started with. I've gone too far. This time I've changed it to 0.7. The new population fell to 98 million. We're getting close, but still too low. 0.75. The new population fell to 99.5 million, so close. 0.76 equals 99.75 million. One more. 0.77, perfect. The population stays at 100 million. And when I copy 0.77 to all the other time periods, it still stays at 100 million. We've come a long way from a fertility rate of 2 to find the rate where the population stays the same. Now I want to tell you a secret. We didn't need to do all that trial and error to find the rate where the population stays the same. If we look at the death rate, which is showing here at 0.8, and then we change the number of figures after the decimal point, we can see that the death rate is 0.77 and the same as the birth rate. Duh, it's pretty obvious when you think about it. The population will stay the same when the number of births and deaths is the same. So let's go back to what is happening in the real world. It's a little bit more complicated than we've shown in our spreadsheet. As we've seen, the fertility rate has been falling fairly fast. We'll look at the reasons for this in a separate part of the course. At the same time, the death rate has been getting lower. The number of new mums is still going up, but it's not climbing so fast. If we tried to put all these changes into our spreadsheet, it would get so complicated, and we're not going to do that. But we can say that in the real world, the percentage of possible mums is not staying at 25%, as we put in our spreadsheet. It's dropping all the time. The death rate is also not staying at 0.77% per year. That is dropping all the time too. One of the big effects of that is that the shape of the population is changing. Let's go back to the situation where the world population is staying the same. That would mean that every generation is the same size. The population of people born between 1960 and 1985 would be the same as the number born between 2035 and 2060. at least until the older people started to die of old age. At present, the death rate is going down, so the percentage of old people in the population is going up, and the percentage of younger people is going down. That means there are fewer working age people to support more old people. This will have huge effects, but we'll cover those separately. As an example, let's look at Japan. These diagrams show the Japanese population at 1950 left, 2022 in the middle, and 2050 on the right. The youngest age group, 0 to 4, is at the bottom, and each layer above is the next older 4-year group. So the next one is 5 to 9-year-olds. Boys are on the left, girls are on the right. In 1950, the youngest group at the bottom is the biggest, and each higher group gets smaller. By 2022, the biggest groups are in the middle, and the youngest groups are very small. By 2050, the bulge has moved up, and the widest part is 75 to 79-year-olds. The triangle shape of 1950, with the widest at the bottom, is almost turned upside down by 2050. Look also at what happens to the total population. 84 million in 1950, 124 million in 2022, and down to 104 million by 2050. I have deliberately chosen to focus on the world population, partly because there are no complications due to migrations. No one is leaving Earth to go to Mars, and so far we have only seen a few students from other planets. If we drop down to country level, migration becomes a huge issue. It's not new. Europe and the USA have had low fertility rates for a long time and have kept their populations up by allowing immigrants from other countries. This worked for everyone because in the past, poor countries had high fertility rates. But now most countries, rich or poor, have low fertility rates. Europe and the USA are still attractive destinations, but the pressure to move out of the poor countries is getting less and less. Again, we will look at this in more detail later in the course. This graph shows world population from 10,000 BCE to now. There has never been a time, except for war or disease, when the population has dropped over a long period. No one has experience from the past about how it works or what to do. 2020 to 2025 is when it will start to fall in many countries. That's why it's critically important that we study population changes and what they might mean for us. Coming soon. Coming very soon. World population.